The reaction to this contract, despite the fact that the Lions took care of him, the reaction to the contract is, and Chris made this point the other day, who were the Lions bidding against? What are the Lions trying to prevent by giving this guy a very substantial $73 million signing bonus, $148 million practical guarantee at signing, potentially putting themselves in the same spot the Rams put themselves in 5 years ago, where they may freak out 2 years from now and say, we got to give somebody a first-round pick to take him off of our hands. The Lions paying Goff this contract, as someone who's got experience in these matters, connected to the NFL, pointed out to me via text message this week, it's the epitome of a team bidding against itself. They could have played this year out. They could have franchise tagged him next year. They could have said, we want to keep you. This is our best number. And it's not $53 million per year in new money. It's not a $73 million signing bonus. It's not $148 million practical guarantee at signing. It's less than that. It's a lower cut than that. I mean, this deal, when you take the old money, it's still $47 million plus per year on average from signing. Jared Goff, many would say, and this is the thing you can use, Jared, to get yourself motivated. Just ignore that part I just said. Jared Goff, in the opinion of many around the league, doesn't belong in that stratosphere. He doesn't belong in that cut of the best quarterbacks. He's not there yet and may never be there. So what were the Lions doing? And when is someone, one of the questions is, how does this apply to Dak Prescott? How does this apply to Tua? How does this apply to Matthew Stafford? How does it apply to Trevor Lawrence? What will teams do in reaction to this? One of these days, and I made the argument 5 years ago, the Rams should have been the ones to do it. One of these days, a team is going to say, thank you for doing what you've done for us at the quarterback position, but if this is what you want, you're not going to get it here. We'd love to pay you, and here's what we'll pay you. And we think that's fair. But if you want more than that, you're going to have to go get it somewhere else. See you later. We'll find another quarterback. That's going to happen. And maybe it'll be Miami. I don't know. I think at some level. And Jared, I hope you copy this down and what's that? Laminated. I almost said marinated. Laminated. Different word. Both have an M. An M with an ATE. But very different words. You don't marinate and laminate. You do one or the other. Laminate it. Laminate it. Laminate it. And it's marinade, not marinade. Is it marinade or marinade? I guess marinate is the verb and marinade is the noun. Anyway, Anyway, the point is this. What is the point? Somebody's going to do it. And here's my point. I knew I'd get there. I feel like the Lions kind of got shoved into this by Jared Goff. Jared Goff. It's ultimately an audience-driven endeavor. You got to keep the fans happy. And the fans wanted him. They were stuck. Myles, if they'd have moved on from Jared Goff, there would have been hell to pay in Detroit. They jacked up the season ticket prices. They still sold them all out. There was some huffing and puffing. You got to keep your fan base happy. Even if it doesn't result in a Super Bowl win, you got to keep those people happy. And hey, if it doesn't work out, it's on Jared, not on us. But I think that gets guys paid sometimes. When the X's and O's shouldn't or wouldn't, the fact that the fans love the guy, that's the thing that gets the guy paid. And that's what might get Tua paid in Miami, even if objectively the Dolphins probably shouldn't go north of 50, maybe shouldn't go north of 45 in new money. That might be what gets the deal done. Because if we don't keep Tua, there's going to be hell to pay with our fans.
Well, yeah, and there are a lot of factors in that, too. I mean, if you're talking about Tagovailoa, right? I mean, it's not just that the fans are in favor of him, because as we know, there is a sector, especially of Tua fans, that will get right on you if you ever say anything that is, even a little bit critical about Tagovailoa. But, I mean, also you've got the coaches, right? If one of the coaches is saying, hey, I can do this with him, I can do this with him, I can do this with him. That's part of what got Jared Goff paid in the first place, is because that's what Sean McVay really felt about Jared Goff at that time after the 2018 season. So yeah, I mean, those are all different things that factor into it. But I think when you're talking about Goff and now this thing, what's going to keep him moving? Look, the last time you got a big contract, this is another factor. You didn't perform well, right? he started going out there and, in some ways he kind of stunk up the room. So if that's another thing that could be a motivating factor for him, then maybe that's something that should be on his mind. Look, oh yeah, the last time I signed a big contract, the team that had me wanted to dump me 2 years later and benched me for John Walford. How am I going to make sure that nothing like that happens again? So there are a lot of different ways that factors into things.
And by the way, week 1 of the 2024 NFL season begins on NBC with Ravens at Chiefs, continues on Peacock with Packers and Eagles in Brazil, and culminates Sunday night. Sean McVay and the Rams going back to Detroit for a playoff rematch and a reunion with Jared Goff. Jared's first opportunity to earn that money. The Rams' opportunity to shove it up Jared Goff's you-know-what. That is the Sunday night game for week 1. So the Lions, I mentioned earlier, 14 of 15 games indoors to start the season. The table is set for them to have a special year and to finish what they started last year. And Jared Goff is motivated to do it. And Jared, feel free to take any and all, cherry pick anything we said, embellish it if you must. Do whatever you need to do to go out there and do what it is you're trying to do. As a lifelong Vikings fan, it pains me to feel this way, but I like the fact that after all these years of waiting, of all these years of just little flashes here and there of a playoff appearance, they had Barry Sanders, and what did they ever show for it? They got to the playoffs a few times in the 90s, but there was never anything. There was not the 91 season. They got to the NFC Championship game, and that was it. They didn't have a playoff win for over 30 years. It's nice to see a fan base that has just waited so long get a chance to enjoy having a good team. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.